Here, Sha Tin again on Wednesday night for an all-weather meeting, plus a bonus race on the turf as well. 9 races in total, including that one turf race over the 1400 metres, one of the 3 Class 5s on the programme. Very warm welcome to the show. I'm Andrew Lejeune. Please say I'm joined by race caller Tom Wood and form analyst in Paul Alley as well. Tom, and it's interesting to have this one turf race, but the action on the all-weather is actually very good, particularly towards the end of the card.
Yeah, it certainly is. The last couple of races which we're going to highlight here on the show are pretty good contests, particularly the last race, Class 2 over 1650, a King Shield. We know he's a very good horse on this surface. Telecom Finders, Money Catcher, of course, coming out of the Derby. Beaten favourite at Happy Valley last start, but they've added the cheek pieces to his armoury this time round. All
right, and as far as first stars are concerned, Paul, we've got a couple of interesting ones. Any jackpots? We've had a couple of good ones over the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've got some money going into the first 4 and quartet merge pools. Races 3, 5, 7 and 9. 800,000 going to each of those. So just seeding the pools up there. And hopefully, you know, it's a good bet type, so if you're interested, it's there for you as well. And of the first starters, there's one I quite like, actually.
OK, we'll get to that a little bit later on, maybe. Tom, we're meeting number 68, I think, of 88 for the campaign. Not much between the jockeys, not much between the trainers either, as far as the title race is concerned.
No, there's certainly not. Frankie with 3 winners at the weekend at Sha Tin. He's currently sitting on 68 and John Size sitting on 65. So there's a very slender margin there at the moment. Frankie's got some nice up-and-coming horses that are going well at the moment. We saw one at the weekend, Sake win. He's also got a pretty progressive horse, Eason. I think they've still got a few wins in them, Paul, before the end of the season.
Yeah, he's looked good, especially at Happy Valley, Eason, hasn't he? But he has performed at Sha Tin as well. So, look, he is a really nice horse. And that Sake win, gee, he was impressive on the weekend.
Joe leaves Zach 111 to 109, and I thought Frankie probably on balance had a better book of or runners' chances on Wednesday night. If he could bag another 2 or 3 winners, go 5 or 6 clear, it's not a bad buffer to have. OK, that's as far as the jockeys and trainers are concerned. Alexi Bedell, speaking of jockeys, is out as well. He sits this meeting out through suspension. But we'll get into the action here as far as Wednesday night's programme is concerned. As I mentioned before, it is meeting 68 of the 88. So on the all-weather for 8s, the one turf race over the 1400 metres. We're on the C course for that one, middle of the cards. And you can see there is race number 4 in actual fact, that turf race. We're looking at the last 2 races of the night over the 12 and the 1650 Class 3 and then the Class 2 to finish things off. So this 8th event sees, it was an expanded ratings band as well, 60 to 85, which lets those top 5 horses in. Kai Master, Hong Kong Win, Band of Brothers and Captain Win all drop in class because of this band. Lightning Bolt, 4th behind Campione last time out, a few coming out of that race. Private Rocket was 3rd behind Lightning Bolt. That was his last start. That was back in February, mind you. Like that coming out of the Campione race as well. Mercurial stepping onto the all-weather just for the 2nd time. And Resolute is a 2-time course and distance winner for Tony Millard. He'll jump from barrier number 11. All right, we'll start though with the speed map, Tom, over the 1200 metres here. We've got some interesting stats to show you in a minute as well, but who are the key runners we're looking out for?
Certainly Kai Master, he's a horse that likes to roll forward. He's coming into this fresh, and Harmony and Blessed was relatively handy last start. He did stumble at the start in that assignment here over the 1200 metres last start. Paul didn't have a lot left. Where does Like That end up from barrier 12?
That's the query, isn't it? He's got this awful draw. He likes to go forward. He's going to try and slot in midfield by Hong Kong Win. Mercurial, if he kicks up, it's just going to find it a little bit tricky. The other one that was of interest is Captain Win. He's coming to the surface for the first time and he's drawn wide, so I think they're more than likely they'll go back with him. OK, but Resolute's looking like he's got a wide trip there as well. But as far as these stats are concerned, then Tom, from the 1200 metres start, it looks a reasonably even split, doesn't it, over as far as winners are concerned?
Yeah, it certainly is, and it just shows you that you can sort of sit anywhere and draw anywhere potentially on the all-weather, and still you're in with a good winning chance right across the board. Really, there's only a couple of draws there, Paul, that have got single-figured winning numbers, but across the rest, it is fairly even, including barrier 12, which got the highest number. Yeah,
well, the interesting thing there was you can sit 3 wide and still win quite easily on the all-weather because you're not getting all that kickback. You're sort of it's getting clear air all the way. So although you are travelling that extra distance, it can be an advantage sometimes.
Yeah. I think when Campione beat a few of these last time, he might have actually drawn barrier 12 himself. And one of the horses he beat was Like That. We've been out at track work to catch up with jockey Joe Moreira.
Joe, Like That is a horse very much in form, and Wednesday night he'll line up in one of the latter races and looks to be a decent chance for you.
Yeah, he's been in great form, hasn't he? He won 2 starts to go. and he ran a good placing last time. So I'm just hoping that he's able to produce his great form once again.
He's got a good record for you, Joe, and he really is a horse that just seems to have found his form again, having started his career off so brightly.
Yeah, apparently Frankie, after giving him a break, brought him back in great form, and I've been just lucky to be on board most of the time that he performed. So I was on top of him last time, but I'm very proud and happy to be back on him.
He's met Lightning Bolt a couple of times, and I suppose when you look at it, he's got the beating of him, hasn't he? So that obviously sort of confirms that form with that horse.
Yeah.
He looks to be one of your biggest dangers.
Yes, no doubts about it. 2 starts ago, they crossed the line very close to each other, so that means there isn't really much between them. They're both decent horses. They both should be the favorites of the race. Of course, the gate is not in our favor this time, but he's the kind of horse that does have a lot of gate speed, so I assume that I'm going to be able to put him up there where I want to be. And I'm not going to be surprised if he wins again.
Just on this morning, Chelsea, very quiet morning here at the trials, but you did trial Little Running Glory. He's been a wonderful servant to his connections this season. How did he trial?
He trials great. Very easy job for him in such a slow run trial, you know. He's going to go up in class now. It's going to be a bit tougher, but I guess being such a light frame kind of a horse, he's going to appreciate the light weight on his back. So that is something in his favor and something against him, but I'm quite happy the way how he's done up until now, and I'd be very surprised if he goes up and do not perform up in grade.
And just finally, Joe, just reflecting on the weekend, obviously a good weekend. Nice to see Senor Toba back in the winner's circle, and obviously Saquin looks a horse with a big future.
Yeah, Senor Toba seems a nice horse with a bright future in Hong Kong. The way how he did on the weekend didn't really have things going on his favor. He got stuck in there. I would love to have gone a little bit early on him. He would have then won a bit more impressively, but he's done what he needed to do, which is win, and I'm looking forward to what his next run is going to be.
Heading towards the Champions and Cheddar Cup, Senor Toba. It was a grim day at Sha Tin, but there's some smart performances on the track. We'll move on then from Like That and Co. and have a look, Tom, here at Captain Nguyen and Band of Brothers. Both of them dropping in class with this 60 to 85 band.
Yeah, Band of Brothers, he's been a bit out of sorts recently. Hasn't won for a wee while. He's had 4 runs this campaign. Hasn't finished in the top 4. And well, Captain Nguyen, they tried to get him towards the Derby, Paul, and in some of his races he's travelled so strongly like he's going to win the race, but then just finds nothing.
No, I know. Look, he's right on the cusp for me. If he'd drawn better, I would have put him in, but coming to the service for the first time from barrier 10 just concerns me a little bit.
I read David Hall saying during the week that he had to reset almost with Captain Nguyen, but after that they tried to get him towards the Derby, and they'll try something different here with the all-weather. Kaiying Master, Paul, we're up at Chung Fo. He's actually trialling behind. That's King Shield in front. He'll go around in the final event.
Yeah, so look, I think King Shield, you keep an eye on him. But I thought it was a nice trial here from Kaiying Master. He's got the speed to get across as well. This was just a quiet trial, so he wasn't asked to do too much. From barrier number 5, I think he'll get his opportunity.
I think he's fairly fit coming forward into this. He's down 18 pounds on his last racing weight back at the end of February on the turf at Sha Tin, over 1,200 metres behind Cordyceps 6. He goes well fresh. He's got a pretty good course and distance record, this horse, and he's gone well on the grade in the past as well. So I think there's plenty to like about Kaiying Master.
That was the Rock looming up on the outside as well, so you got 2 for 1 there. Private Rocket, Tom, I quite liked this trial. Again, that's King Shield bowling along in front.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he'd go round in pretty much similar colours to Captain Nguyen, just a different coloured cap. He was midfield on the fence last start. He was there to challenge behind Lightning Bolt, was beaten just over 3 lengths. Nothing wrong with the trial, and he's come up with a good draw here, Paul.
Yeah, he's been placed a couple of times from his 4 starts as well. He's got the informed Lyle Hewitson aboard as well. So from barrier 4, he's definitely going to have plenty of people liking him.
Yeah, so consider as well, King Shield, the horse in front of him, was rated 30 pounds higher. But they are the combination, Private Rocket, Paul, of Douglas White and Lyle Hewitson. Yeah,
look how they've gone at the moment. This is just since the 1st of April, with 5 wins between them there, with 2 seconds and 3 thirds and a 4th from his 28 starts. So very, very good there. And Lyle in particular has had a really good particular 3 meetings with those 7 wins from those 3 meetings.
He certainly has, striking there for a win percentage of just over 41% and top 4 rate there of just under 65. So he's low flying at the moment.
Yeah, double on Champions Day, 3 at Happy Valley, then 2 again on the weekend. So Private Rockets for Lyle. What do you say though, Paul? Lightning Bolt's even money favourite here.
I've got Lightning Bolt in. I'm going to put him in just in the Quinella place. I do like that. I just think he comes out of races with rock solid form. We've seen from those statistics he can win from sitting wide from barrier number 12. And the second behind Campione was very good, and he did beat Lightning Bolt last start. So 9 to beat 7. Kaying Master's been working well up in Chung Fa, and we've seen that trial. One at a bit of a price, I think, is going to be Hong Kong Nguyen. Look, he's coming to the surface for the first time. His good form's over 1,000, but 1,200 here on the dirt, I think, is a different kettle of fish. I just think he might run a bit of a cheeky race. He's getting quite well rated as well. 9, 7, 1 and 3.
I want to stick with the Lightning Bolt here, even though he has been a bit costly in his last couple of assignments now, where Lightning Bolt beaten an even money favourite 2 back, and then in the red last start behind Campione. He wasn't the quickest away, he was sort of back and wide, and he only really held his ground over the final stages, but we'll give him another chance here. Karis Teton drawn barrier number 7 with Lightning Bolt. Like that has to go in. Flying Dragon's another one that was up in grade for the first time last start and ran really well behind Campione at a decent enough price, beaten 1 3/4. Was wide. He had no cover last start, so there's plenty to like about his last start effort. And Kaying Master, who goes well fresh, looked to get to the line under his own steam in a recent trial. 3 trials coming into with us not seen since the end of February. 7, 9, 10 and 1.
Very competitive race, this one. 7, 9 and 10 are in my numbers as well. But I quite like Private Rockets trial. He's first up, fresh up for a little spell. I think he can go well. That's race number 8. Still to come, we'll look at the final race on the programme, race 9. Really good class 2 of the 1650, plus all the best bets. That's up next. Hong Kong racing heads to Sha Tin this Wednesday night. We're back at Happy Valley the following week. It's primarily all-weather card, and we're looking at the final event here, race number 9. Certainly the high class tonight's a class 2 of the 1650, and a good one as well. The field headed by King Shield. Extended ratings band one, more 80 to 105. Let's in King Shield here. Regular front runner. He's a 4-time course and distance when he jumps from barrier number 4. Buddy's has got speed though. He drew wide, barrier number 12. Telecom Fighter's a 4-time course and distance with a money catcher, 3rd in the Derby. 3rd at Happy Valley last time out as favourite. The Rock's got speed. He's drawn the inside gate. Beauty Fit comes up in class for John Size and Harry Bentley. Berlin Tango, they put the blinkers on for the first time as he comes back onto the all-weather. Highly proactive, Delout for Lau, who's slow out of the gates, and Cheng Cheng Prince, who's a 2-time course and distance winner himself. Stats actually read quite well, 2 from 3 course and distance, but in a lower grade. So again, we'll have a look at the barrier stats in a moment, Tom, as far as this one's concerned, but good to fast, we're saying here, with a few leaders engaged.
Yeah, the speed should be strong here. We know Paul Kingshield likes to go forward. He's drawn 4, so he'll find the rail quickly. Buddies is another one that likes to go forward, but he's drawn in barrier 12. And Telecom Fighters, well, we saw what happened to him, and we will see it again shortly when he went forward and got involved in a speed battle. It didn't work out well for him a few runs ago on the surface.
No, I think he'll probably take the sit there and let Kingshield go this time. The interesting one is Money Catcher. He's coming to the surface for the first time. He's been going forward and over longer distances, but from his wide draw, he might just have to try and find a slot wide. So that was the big query for me.
Okay. Again, we can have a look at these barrier stats, Tom. And it tells a story as well. The 1200 metre start very even, 1650 not so much.
Yeah, not so much because it is a short run to the first turn, and you can see there are a few standout draws there. 1, 5 and also a 10 in double figures, sort of 8s and a few 5s amongst them. 10 and 11 don't read that well, but it's, Paul, a real momentum surface, the all-weather.
It is. That's the thing with it, isn't it? And look, if you do get draw wide with that first turn, I think that's the statistics show it there. And with this race, there's so much pace in it as well.
Well, those horses are the Rock, Cheng Cheng Prince and Money Catcher jumps from barrier number 9, who we can start off with here in actual fact, Tom. This is at Happy Valley, so this is after the Derby. He was favourite for this, only finishes 3rd. I say only, but finishes 3rd. The other one to look out for is Telecom Fighters, who runs 4th.
I guess considering his price last start, Money Catcher 2.4, I made him a best bet this night. I was a little disappointed that he wasn't able to win this. I thought it was his for the taking. He was there on the outside. Thought he had every chance. Couldn't really find too many excuses for him, Paul. They've changed the gear up this week, however. Yeah,
I just wonder, coming back to 1650, coming to a different surface. So they are trying something completely new with him as well. I've got him in on a very minor line because he has come out of some good form races.
All right, we'll just start this race out of the gates and I'll stop it and show you who we're looking at here. The horses to look out for. Well, Red Desert actually fares best. He finishes second in this race, but he drops out of this speed battle, Paul. We've got Telecom Fighters, eventually runs fourth. That's him there. And King Shield eventually finishes in fifth. But you can see as we roll it on again, we've got the splits on the bottom of the screen. And that in itself, and you can see visually as well just how hard they've gone early.
Yeah, they have. So I just wonder if from an inside draw, Telecom Fighters might just decide to tuck in behind King Shield this time, and they should just take a bit of the speed out of the race. Then there's a big query on what Buddies decides to do. But you can see they're all going pretty quick here, and it just set it up. The winner was the last horse, and the runner-up was the one in front of him.
27.06, 22.25. There are no standard splits for this particular race, but you look at like Class 2 Company and 27 just and change there is almost a second above standard, so they went hard.
Yeah, you can see Hong Kong Greats actually completely dropped out of it there, and here comes Willpower and Red Desert as they're coming through. But Paul, King Shields, does he have to lead? Does he? I mean, is it lead at all costs for him?
Well, they've had those 2 trials with him, and he has led at his last couple and has led easy enough. From barrier 4, I'd be surprised if they didn't try it again. Again, he's another one that can always pull out of the speed battle as well. But look, when he's good, he's very, very good, King Shield.
And you look at his form down through the years here in Hong Kong, was 4 wins. He's led in all of them. He's a one-trick pony, I think, King Shield. Right,
OK, so it just all depends really if anyone wants to put any pressure on him, whether it be Buddies or somebody else. We can see King Shield up at Chung Fa, Tom trialling, and there's no pressure here, so he's obviously doing it very comfortably. The other horse, sorry, I should have pointed out as well, is the Rock here, and well, Delightful Lau. He's just still got his gates problems.
Yeah, he has. He was slow out last start. He's had a lameness issue as well. He's had 2 trials, blinkers off, cheek pieces going on. He's up 25 pounds as well. You can see him pushed out at the back there. King Shield not asked for too much, but the Rock wasn't bad here, and he's stripped a bit fitter here, Paul. He's dropped 24 pounds. He's had a freshen up 2 trials and 3 runs on the all-weather for a couple of placings.
Yeah, so he is. He doesn't mind the surface, and it was a nice quiet trial from him as well. So he should get a nice run from barrier 1, and we did see those statistics.
OK, this is Beauty Fits we can have a look at here, right in the middle of the pack. Ultimately finishing in third place. Paul, where does he fit into the grander scheme of things?
I've included him because I thought it was a really good run from him. He'd come onto the surface. He's had a couple of runs on it now, and he's run well both times on the surface. I thought he finished off this race strongly enough. So, yeah, I'll put him in there, Tom.
He's behind So We Joy, Patchy Pass. They go round earlier on. Romantic Combo there as well. As you mentioned, a couple of runs on the all-weather for a third and a fourth, and he arrived here with a big opinion. Just the 3 wins from his 21 starts, but he has handled the all-weather, and he is drawn relatively well, so I want to keep him safe.
Didn't get a completely clear run there either, did he? He was sort of outside, went back to the inside and had to come round off heels once more. Last one we can look at, Tom, this is Cheng Cheng Prince, good course and distance record. This is him warming up. He's been up at Chung Fa as well.
He's only got the light weight here, but when he has been here in Class 2, he has struggled. 3 starts, hasn't run in the top 4. A couple of recent trials up here at Chung Fa, next to Royal Campbell here, who goes around earlier on in the program, and the trial was good enough. Paul, he was able to pull away and win quite nicely, but the grade's always been a concern.
Yeah, that worries me a bit. He'll hit 100. He's got 113 carded. They might just a bit overweight with Matthew Poon on. Barrier 10, it's where he's going to be in the run too from that draw.
Yeah, 2 from 3 course and distance, but 0 from 3 as far as the class is concerned. Favourite, Beauty Fit at this stage, Paul?
I've got him in. I'm going to go with King Shield. I think if everything's right for this horse, he is the class horse of the race. That's why he's got the big weight. But I've got him on top. Telecom Fighters, if he just sits in behind or he leads and King Shield doesn't, but I'd be surprised if that happened. He's going to be right on the pace. Beauty Fit, we've just talked about a money catcher. I'll put him just on a minor line. With this horse here, he's obviously a very nice horse, third in the Derby, obviously, but it's just whether this is the right race for him. 1, 3, 8 and 4.
I'm going to stick with Money Catch here. Haven't lost all faith in him yet. Back in trip here, new surface, gear change, had every chance last time out. You'll get more of a price about him this time round, Money Catcher. Beauty Fit, Telecom Fighters goes in. And Zarsen's not known for his 1650 form. He tries it for the first time. He has won over 1,200 metres, but he was running on a bit last time out, so maybe not the worst here, but there are question marks possibly with the trip. 4, 8, 3 and 6.
Yeah, I'll go with Money Catcher as well. 4 and 5. I think the Rock's drawn well there. Gets a cheap run. Consider just behind the speed. That's my cue there in the last 4 and 5 in race number 9. So 9 races, Paul, to get our teeth into. Plus that turf race. Who are the highlights for you?
I did like a horse called Fantasy Spring in race number 1. I think he's improved a lot. The blinkers on for the first time. He's none from 5, but he comes onto the surface, and I think he's got the speed to get across. So I think he'll be one of value. I don't mind him. A horse called Yellowfin, who's having its first start. He's looked really good in the trials as well. Zach Purden will take the ride on debut. I think he's a good chance. And Apache Pass, who did run second behind So We Joy, but meets him a lot better at the weights. I think he's a really good chance as well in the middle of the card.
All right, and don't forget that you can see previews of those on the audio-video section of the website. But of those, Paul, who was the best?
Going to go with Apache Pass. Just with the turn and the weights, I think he can overturn the last start second. He's been very consistent on the surface, so he's the best. And we'll go with the one in race 1 I was talking about as the long shot there, Fantasy Spring. Blinkers on for the first time, son of a Per and Canto. I think he can go forward from his draw, and he should be a double-figure price. And we'll do the play, get it out nice and early. In race 1, 5, 7, 11, all is good, the best hero, and Fantasy Spring.
Best for me comes up in at the middle part of the program. It's the newcomer Yellowfin. I think he's been trialling well. It's not a strong race to make his debut, and on the all-weather race 5, number 4. Value, another Me Choi runner who's got no form whatsoever, but he ran on pretty well, I thought, last time out on the turf, and comes to the all-weather here. Race 2, number 2, Akka Power. The plan the last race with Telecom Fighters, Money Catcher and Beauty Fit.
All right, all that hard work put into those graphics about Douglas White and Lyle Hewitts, and hopefully repays with Private Rocket fresh up. He was actually quite a good price. We looked at the markets before, so he might have been nicking each way. Shout about him, and Big Happiness should get an each way price about him as he drops in class, gets onto the all-weather. Hasn't done much in 3, but trialled, I thought, well on the all-weather as his warm-up. And Private Rocket like that, and Flying Dragon for QQP in race number 8. All right, that's Wednesday night. Then it's Sha Tin on Saturday for us, Tom. Entries, just having a quick look at them. There's really good Class 2 coming up. California Deep Shot, Silver Express, I'm a Single Man, the Golden Scenery. It looks a good race there.
Yeah, a little bit light on numbers. I think just the 8 going around to there, but hopefully it's a good meeting at the weekend.
And don't forget it's a Saturday.
It is, yes, thank you. That's the show, though. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you at Sha Tin on Wednesday night. We will be racing to win.